Hello, my friends, and welcome to the latest spin. I'm Mike Spinner, Student Athlete World USA, coming at you on a very happy, a very busy Monday. It's the holiday season, never a dull moment. It's our busiest season at Student Athlete World. The number of meetings and interviews and conversations, it is crazy right now, and it's awesome. It is just an amazing time of year. And why the New York Rangers had, I know this is not a very hockey centric community that I am communicating with here, but I got to tell you, I was at the New York Rangers game last night. They hosted the San Jose Sharks in Madison Square Garden. Maybe the most exciting sporting event I've ever been to, and I've been to a lot of sporting events. 6-5 Rangers win. The game had a little bit of everything. Just a fabulous hockey game, so much fun, sold out arena, really exciting game, went right down to the final seconds. I was with my 11-year-old, my little Matthew, hockey nut, hockey player, and we just had a blast and feeling very festive about my Rangers today. They're the number one team in the NHL, playing great. And it fits with the red, white, and blue. So why not wear it? And here's what I'll say: I'm not going to get deeply into hockey. I love to have Student Athlete World do more in the hockey realm. Certainly, trying the United World Games has hockey. Just we're trying to get some teams going. Hopefully, that's coming soon. But for those of you wondering what to do at the holiday season, that's interesting, unique, and fun. First of all, go on tour with us. All right, that's what you need to do for the holidays. But set up that tour. I mean, because we don't actually tour during the holidays. But if you want to do something really different and you're a sports nut like I am, go to an NHL game. All right. And I got a couple of texts work related during the game last night. So I decided to answer them between periods. And that's how awesome I am, people. I'm always working, right? At a Rangers game, enjoying time with the sun. Great game. But I'm answering your texts because I love this job that much. But you want to do something really special, go to an NHL game. You're on vacation somewhere as an NHL team trying to figure out. There's a team in Vegas now. They just won a Stanley Cup. Go to an NHL game. Everyone around us seemed to be on vacation from somewhere last night, and you had people around us who'd never been to an NHL game before, and their eyes were wide open the whole game. It's a really wonderful experience. So mark my words, because how often am I wrong? Really? Never. Go to an NHL game. I had so much fun at that game last night. Diehard Rangers fan, and it was just probably the best game I've ever been to. Just a lot of fun. On to Student Athlete World Business. We got a lot going on, so pay attention. First of all, special welcome Isaiah Lema men's basketball, Danny Odom men's basketball, DeMarcus Thomas men's basketball, and Brooks Walzell men's basketball. Hey, payments roll in, people. Rosters are getting tighter and tighter every day. Um, get those interviews done, get those deposits in, make your tours official before we start to sell out, which is coming really soon for certain tours. Now, big announcement, huge. I've been teasing this. I'm going to make the announcement tonight. My tour for the summer of 2024, drum roll, please. I will be in Spain and Portugal for not one tour, but one and a half potentially. I will be overseeing our Lisboa Lacrosse Cup tour, which is Spain and Portugal. All right. I'm real excited to do that. And then, depending on scheduling and flights, I will stick around the next week for likely roughly the first, maybe half of the Spain Portugal basketball tour, which in the past, those tours have gone concurrently. For this year, the two tournaments are a week apart. So it's almost like two separate tours for us. So I'll be overseeing the lacrosse component, but I'm going to stick around for at least some of the basketball as well. And I'm really excited. So, Tim Ryerson, thank you. Always wanted to visit Spain and Portugal. Can't wait to be there. Really, really happy and excited. So as you go and, I hope you're excited to meet me in person as I am to meet you in person. I can't wait. I can't wait for June. It can't come soon enough. And from what I learned last year, these next 6 months they go by like that. So pretty soon I'll be in Spain and Portugal, and I really cannot wait. So that's why I'm doing this here. Now I've said how much I love the United World Games, and I go back every year, and I still mean that. If things change and I get a call tomorrow like, "Hey, you're going back to the United World Games," I will be the happiest guy in the world. So for those of you thinking about our different tours, this is not a knock on United World Games. Just I do have a goal to do each one of our tours at least once. So that way, as I'm speaking to you about them, I can say, well, here's what I experienced. So it just makes sense for me to do Spain and Portugal this year. But United World Games, I will be back at some point. I love that tour. I want to go back. I go back this year, like I said. So, but Spain and Portugal this year, I'm really excited. Next, this isn't an announcement; it's just a dynamic. Many of you watching this are people who have toured with us before and are wondering whether or not to tour with us again. People who have not yet seen the process through, considering touring with us, and everything in between. So one thing that we're doing this year that we didn't do as much last year, mainly because I was new to the company and it was transition time, and so it made sense to not push this last year. We are discussing new and exciting and different tours. Now, I can't get into details now. Nothing's official yet. And it won't be really till spring or summer that things are official. But we had an amazing meeting today about a really fun and awesome tour that I'll be first in line to volunteer to oversee. Tim, hope you're listening. I want to do that one. And then we had an email exchange last week about a really amazing tour possibility. That look, the concept's in its infancy, so who knows how it's going to go. But here's my point: you do one tour list, we're happy. But our tours, all of them, I would do any one of them. I think anyone who's done more than one tour list, and there are a lot of you out there, would do the same. They're getting better because there's going to be more of them soon, and just awesome tours. So I'm just really excited about the direction that student athlete world is going. Just things are growing in a really good and fun and awesome way. So all I have to say is stay tuned to our social media, especially come to spring, because we hopefully have a couple of big announcements coming. That to me is just so exciting. All right. Now, what in the world this week? Sponsored by Pepsi. I don't know. I haven't drink Pepsi, but sponsored by someone cool. So what in the world this week? And as I mentioned, just anything in the world I could talk about, sport related, travel related, anything, food related, anything. I so this week a couple different sports things. One is, as you know, I talk a lot about football. And the biggest football story right now is Florida State University football. Just so happened we interviewed someone last week whose father was an all-time great at Florida State, played in the NFL. This was really cool. I'm not going to name names, but really cool to talk to him a bit, being as big of a football fan as I am. They won a Super Bowl. That was just wow, just awestruck for me. Um, Here's my take on it, on the BCS and Florida State and all that. What a tough decision for the BCS, right? Florida State undefeated, had some great wins, and they killed LSU. On any given year, they beat up on teams like Boston College and Florida, teams that historically have been good. There's a number of teams there who they beat historically good. They didn't lose a game. So there is a strong argument that they belonged in the BCS. But this is a catastrophe. This is embarrassing. This is a black eye on college football. You have to spare me that because, who didn't belong? The argument could be made Alabama, and I'm not going to make that argument. But there's an argument. Look, it really seemed like Michigan really belonged, and Texas really belonged, and Alabama lost to Texas. So I get the rationale, but being undefeated should not mean automatic qualification. I'm sorry. I am an SEC football person, despite living in Connecticut. And to me, you can't have a championship format without an SEC representative. So Alabama's in. They won the SEC championship. And they beat, in my opinion, even though the game was competitive, they beat the number one team in the country convincingly enough to get there. So now you have a one-win team and they're over an undefeated team. And I think where the controversy is coming from is that the BCS people have said Florida State lost their star quarterback. They're not the same team without him. Let's call a spade a spade. That ACC championship game with Louisville was not a good football game. All right. If Florida State didn't go to Wildcat, they may lose the game. And, you have to put your best product forward. It's only 4 teams. All right. So is it a really tough argument to make that an undefeated team was omitted from the Final Four, the BCS, because a player got hurt. Very tough argument to make, but it's the right one. So while it's not a happy decision, you're not telling me that, hey, Florida State was omitted, but an awful team with no future, no prospects, a non-competitive bunch of nobodies made it. You know, like Wisconsin, right? They had made it, yeah, argue away. They didn't. All right. If number 4 is Alabama, they earned their way in. They weren't as clean of a team as Florida State was, but they're in the SEC. And in my opinion, and it's my own opinion, and many people have this opinion, the SEC is that much better than everybody else. They have to have a representative. That's where that happened. And you know, am I happy about it? Yeah, I think I am, to be honest. Do I have anything against Florida State? No. Next year, 12-team format, Florida State's in that scenario. It just so happened that for whatever reason, a 14 format was acceptable. And I think an undefeated team had to get cut. It was Florida State. It is unfortunate. It is not tragic, my opinion. Another strong opinion. If Alabama finishes what they have started here and they win this, I will make the argument this Nick Saban team this year is the best coaching job in history of college football. They looked awful against Texas early. They had a bunch of close games against teams that should not have been close. All right. This Alabama team was going down in a heap, and boy, did they look good against Georgia. Something I've said a lot on this show. On the show. Something I've said a lot is all those close games that Alabama had to find a way to win. They had to battle to win. They had to make things happen that used to come easy. Boy, that built character, and their flaws were exposed by a number of different teams. Alabama bent but didn't break, and Nick Saban and his crew coached the heck out of them. And now I would not call an upset if they beat Michigan. And there's videos gone viral of Michigan's reaction to playing Alabama. They're not so happy about it. All right. I think this Alabama team has come as far as he can come over the course of a season. And Nick Saban, arguably the greatest college football coach of all time, this might be his best coaching job ever. And I'll be rooting for you, Bama. I am an SEC football guy. I just think both of these semifinal games are going to be tremendous. Cannot wait. All right. Moving on to a topic that's near and dear to my heart, but not necessarily commonplace. It's more small college sports. I played Division II sports. Okay. I coached and worked in Division III athletics for many years, and I was a Division II head coach as well. And the small school environment means a lot to me. I enjoyed working in the small school environment during my career in college athletics. A couple of big things happened this week in small schools. Number one, College of St. Rose in Albany is closing its doors at the end of the academic year in May. It happens. All right. Small schools are in deep trouble. Over the next couple of years, you're going to see a lot of small schools closing. That's unfortunately the way of the world right now, with fewer students going to college because there's fewer kids out there. But here's my issue. The announcement was made Thursday of last week, right before dinner time. So there were a group of women eating dinner around that time who played for the women's soccer team at the College of St. Rose. And they're preparing for the next morning at 10 a.m. because they're the number one ranked team in the country. And they were going up against Adelphi University in the NCAA, I think Elite Eight. And the College of St. Rose, hours literally before the game, decided to announce they're closing their doors permanently. And the St. Rose women's soccer team, undefeated, number one team in the country, went out the next morning and lost. Is it any surprise that they lost the game? Like, my issue is not that St. Rose made a business decision. It's unsustainable to stay open like any other business. As much as it's higher education, they made a decision to close their doors. It happens. But they couldn't wait 24 hours? That's my issue. Like, how do you not take the temperature of the room and say, you know what, tomorrow's a really big day for St. Rose students who've given this college everything they can do as students and athletes. Let's announce tomorrow afternoon. Why did the announcement have to come then and there? And naturally, the team lost. And it's like, that's one of those bothersome things. no matter what level in the educational realm that you work in, the kids come first. Always. First, second, and third, the kids. The experience of the students comes first. In sports, the experience of the student athletes come first. That's how the world should work. And how is that decision in the best interest of these women who went an entire season undefeated to this point? All right. That decision needed to win. Preferably a couple of weeks to see if they can win a national championship, but certainly not hours before the game. Kind of grinding my gears a bit, not happy with it. Nothing to do with the school. I've never been there, so it doesn't matter. But it's just one of those stories that really gets me. Another small college story, Lindenwood University, Missouri. Former Division II program, an amazing place, went Division I. Okay, a lot of Division IIs have gone Division I. I don't see it, but it's not my decision to make. So they're in their first year of Division I, second year of Division I participation. Today announced they're dropping 10 of their 26 varsity sports. It's like a third of their athletic department is going away. Men's lacrosse being one example, women's field hockey, and so on and so forth. Why? Because it's too expensive. So here's my thing. Why are you going Division I if you know you can't pay the bills? And what we've had is, from Division II standpoint, you've had schools like Stonehill and LIU and Lemoyne and others and Lindenwood, who have left Division II in recent years to go Division I because everyone sees Division I as being the big jump, and we're going to make it. It's going to be great. The road's going to be paved with gold. And the truth is, it's expensive. And these types of decisions need to be made before you make the decision to go Division I. In some realms, it's really worked out. Quinnipiac University. When I was in college, they were a small Division II school for all sports. They went Division I. Last year, won a hockey championship, national championship, because they put the money and the resources into being a big-time hockey school. Lindenwood made that decision not even 2 years ago, probably, and now they're cutting a third of their athletic program just to pay the bills. Once again, in the interest of putting the student athletes first, you need to make sure you're doing your job first. So for Lindenwood University, nothing against you, but there are a lot of kids really hurting right now who chose your school for an athletic opportunity and they could have gone elsewhere. And it's just wrong. You cut a sport here and there for equity purposes, for financial purposes, that's one thing, but 10 sports, what that means is you did not calculate your decision properly to go Division I, which makes it your fault, not the kid's fault. And I think what is happening is very unfortunate. So that's just what in the world this week. A couple of things on my mind. A little negative about the small school things. I promise you a little more positive things at some point soon. But that's all I have for this week, as always. Student Athlete World, your tours are awesome. I want to do one. I want the coolest experience I'm ever going to have. Only one way to do it. Go to studentathleteworld.com, complete your application, interview with me, and pack your bags. Have a wonderful week, my friends. See everyone next Monday. Take care.